Yes, I like that description. Poacher turned gamekeeper. Exactly that. So, for those of you who don't know me, I've spent around 40 years as an engineer in professional motorsport. And I've seen many changes in that time, and I've seen the business grow and become stronger and stronger. And I have turned gamekeeper now. My main occupation these days is working for Formula One management. And yes, you may see me talking some rubbish on Sky occasionally, but that's really part of just trying to improve the reach of Formula One and getting across some of the more technical aspects of Formula One to our general audience. Now, I was very pleased to be following Roddy today for two reasons. One, like me, he's not using PowerPoint, which I think is very refreshing. But even more important, he used a word that is very dear to my heart at the moment, and that's entertainment. His third point really was about motorsport must provide entertainment. And I really want to just start talking a little bit about what we're doing in Formula One and what Formula One management are doing to really try and move things forward in that area in particular. Because I think the trouble is there's far too much bad news around, and that bad news is not real news, it's false news, because there are a lot of very, very positive things in front of us. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll talk about Formula One, and I don't for 1 minute think that Formula One is the be-all and end-all, but it is at the top of the pyramid. It is the thing that sustains a lot of the growth in our supply chain and in the lower formulae. So I think it is very important to have a strong Formula One worldwide and in this country, and from that a lot of other things will start to flow. So recently, as I'm sure you all know, the ownership of Formula One moved from Bernie Ecclestone to Liberty Media. And that really is a sea change in many, many ways of what Formula One is all about. And one of the changes that we're seeing is, in fact, the work that I'm embarking on at the moment. So for many years, Formula One did not have a vision of the future. And in fact, in the latest sort of agreements that the teams run under, a group was formed called the Strategy Group, and it was probably the most misnamed group that's ever existed certainly in motorsport, probably in many other areas as well, because Formula One has really suffered from not having a strategy. We've always worked with knee-jerk reactions to many things. And I think now we have an owner of Formula One who is prepared to invest in the future. And by investing in the future, of course it's good for Formula One, but I think that that's going to roll down and be good for all of you here, all of your businesses and your ambitions for the future. So what are we doing? Well, we are really looking forward now to 2021 as a bit of a landmark time when we will look at how we improve Formula One significantly. Now, I'm leading a small technical group who are looking at that, but believe me, it's not just technical. We have a sporting group, we have data analytics, we have marketing people, we have all the things that Formula One has lacked over the last few years. And we have a target that's far enough ahead that we're not going to suffer from the protectionism that Formula One has suffered from in the past. I've been to many, many meetings of technical and sporting working groups over the years. They're very frustrating meetings because whenever we talk about change, whoever is successful is opposing change, whoever's not successful wants change. It's only natural. Well, one of the ways to get around that is to look forward, and that's what we're trying to do. So we're not talking about what rules are we going to change next year, what rules are we going to change the following year. We're looking at a target of 2021, and in fact, in some areas, even beyond that. So for 2021, we're looking at really quite a new formula, if you like. We are starting off by looking at the power units, which will change for 2021. We'll maintain a lot of the road relevance. We'll maintain a lot of the good things that have happened and Roddy again mentioned, the fantastic fuel consumption that we're getting. Some of those technologies I think are very road relevant. But we're not just going down that route. We are ensuring that we have entertainment at the top of our list. Sustainability is important. Sustainability not just in a sort of global sense, but also for the teams. So we're also looking at how we provide a good business model for those teams. And again, as I said earlier, what I believe that will do is it will roll all the way down. So how are we doing that? Well, the first thing I think is to identify some very clear objectives for what we want. And in doing that, every rule that we look at, every change that we look at, we are measuring against the metrics that are so important to us. And they are primarily entertainment, but also sustainability. And I think by using that long-term view, I believe that we are going to have a very strong Formula One. I think that there are lots of other things that people worry about these days. They worry about Brexit, they worry about what's happening with Formula One in this country, for example, the Silverstone problem, things like that. I think what I'd say to those people is that, this is not a UK business only. We race all over the world. We race outside Europe. We always have done. We haven't always been part of the common market. And in fact, I'm still being chased, I think, by Sweden for a car that I apparently left there by forgetting to get a carnet signed on my way out about 20 years ago. But these sort of things we've dealt with before. They're not going to be a problem. They haven't stopped us in the past. And in fact, I believe we should be looking at it as an opportunity. We are a global business. We are a global sport. I think with a very strong Formula One, we will ensure that we bring that forward. Now, what does that mean to you guys? A lot of you here are in the supply chain, supplying Formula One, supplying the other formulae. Well, we're not going to dumb down Formula One. I think that there are many aspects of Formula One that are extremely important to its success. And while we believe at Formula One management, the Formula One has not been exploited to its full potential, and as a global sport, we believe that there's so much more that it can offer. We are also very aware of the fact that it is actually quite a successful sport as well. And we're certainly not about to rip it all up, change it all, and get it wrong. So what are the things that do make it different? Well, I think the thing that is important that will interest all of you is the technology. And Formula One has always been known for its technology. Since 2014, that's been largely centered around the power unit, electrification, hybridization, battery development, all these sort of things. And that will, I think, provide a very strong future for all sorts of industries. Paul McNamara was talking about how Williams are taking those F1 technologies and bringing them into Williams Advanced Engineering. Roddy does a similar thing with McLaren Applied Technologies. These are spin-offs from Formula One that are very specific, and Formula One teams getting involved in these advanced technology companies. But I think it goes much further than that. I think it goes to each and every one of us. There are an awful lot of things in Formula One that I think are extremely relevant and that are technologically advanced, and we don't want to lose that. Now, there are certain things I think that are very hidden and a lot of money is spent that perhaps need not be. So we're trying to find those out. We're trying to really define what we want the performance differentiators to be and really allow the teams to work on those performance differentiators. So the sort of performance differentiators that we believe are important are the power unit, they are aerodynamics, and they are suspension in its broadest sense, so tyre management and things like that. So we're certainly not dumbing down those areas. Indeed, I think we're trying to really look forward and see how we can push those a lot more while still maintaining this mantra, which is so important to us, of making sure that we entertain. Because if we entertain, we'll grow, and if we grow, that's good for all of us, everyone in this room, I think. So don't expect Formula One to dumb down in 2021. Far from it. I think there are many areas that we'll be looking at where we really will be trying to improve things a lot more. I hope that brings a much better environment for all of us to work in. And as I said earlier, I don't think we should be afraid of any of that environment. I think it's an environment that will grow. Formula One is a global sport. It has been a global sport for many years. It gets more and more global as we go on. I don't think we've decided yet how many races we're going to have in a year. I think we're well aware of the difficulty that the teams have in supporting more than 20 races, but equally that sort of number gives us an element of exclusivity, which I think is very important. But more and more those races are moving outside Europe, to the Far East, to the Middle East, to North America, where we haven't had a great presence in the last few years, and obviously with an American owner of Formula One now, that not only makes a good business case, but I think it's a little bit of an ambition for them to grow in that enormous market. And that's a market where, as Formula One becomes more relevant to North Americans, I think they will understand how UK-centric it is, and I hope will bring business into all of you. So I see a very bright future. I see a very strategic view of motorsport now, and that strategic view I think is something that will benefit all of you. I think you can go ahead and you can start making your plans to move on, to move forward, in the knowledge that right at the top of the sport there's a much stronger kingpin to growth than there ever has been in the past. I firmly believe that Formula One management are doing a great job now. Any of you who saw the event in London yesterday, you know, it's a real landmark sort of event. It really is. We're turning Formula One from being not just a sport, but being an entertainment, and that's a really strong message that we want to get across. I hope that all of you can join in and jump on the bandwagon, because that's what it is. If we have a strong Formula One, we'll have strong formulae all the way through club racing, we'll have a strong supply chain, and I think that's a great thing for everyone. So I'm not going to bore you with any more. I'm going to keep it relatively short today because I think the panel sessions will be particularly good from this session here. So thank you very much for your attention, and please ask questions later.